Hello everyone, this is Kristen Dombrowski with your UDL tip of the week. This week's tip centers around using rubrics. By rubric, I mean this kind of document that clearly articulates expectations for a given task or performance, and it delineates performance over different levels. The first tip I have for you is that rubrics are amazing for goal setting, which is a cornerstone of UDL practices. We can help students set goals by sharing these rubrics immediately with them before learning, again during learning, and to evaluate themselves after learning. That way, throughout the entire process, the expectations are clear for everyone and we all know where we're heading. Next, these rubrics can also be used by students to self-evaluate at any point in their learning, to peer evaluate, and the same rubric can be used by teachers to evaluate students formatively or summatively after learning. The biggest tip I have is to make sure to keep rubrics simple. They have a tendency to get unwieldy and gain so many rows and columns that they take up an entire page, when really all we can ever focus on is one piece per day or one piece at a time. So I would say keep your rubric to 1 or 2 focus areas at max. Make sure that the language is kid-friendly. I think we're all great at writing rubrics that we can use as teachers, but remember that students are part of the learning process as well, and we want to rope them in. Please reduce the language of rubrics as much as possible to keep it simple and keep it fresh in their minds. Here's an example of a rubric that's got a lot going on, and it's great for us as teachers to use, but here's what I might do to make it more kid-friendly. I might pull out just the one row we're working on today, and I shortened the language and made it more kid-friendly and added some visual symbols to help students understand what's expected at each level. And we would talk about this as we go. Next, rubrics are a great opportunity to incorporate accommodations, especially for English learners, students with learning disabilities, really any student who learns visually. We can incorporate visuals, symbols, pictures, examples, and my favorite, models. Students really thrive on having models to emulate. And please make sure to use can-do positive descriptors. Make sure the language of your rubric focuses on what students can do at each level and their strengths instead of pointing out what might be missing at each level. Last but not least, it's very important for students that your rubrics maintain consistency. If you are a 1, 2, 3 star person, always make sure to keep with that. If you increase in performance from left to right, maintain that. If you use the same labels over and over again, keep those so students always know where they're looking at the rubric to determine their level of performance and success. Those are my tips of the week on using rubrics to maximize your UDL practice in your classroom. I love helping teachers write and use rubrics, so please contact me anytime if you'd like help. Have a great week.